Welcome everybody to my art channel, Matisse Open Art Studio. You know that my name is Matisse, and this is an open art studio, meaning that you guys are welcome into my art studio and my home because this is my home also. You can see all my paintings lay out all over the place. All over the place, my friend. I'm watching YouTube, my favorite channel. I will put the volume up on this lady, what she's talking about, art. But, they play music too. Let me see. Yeah, so you can hear her talking about art. So I got my foot elevated so you can see my toesies. See my toes. If you're wondering what is this, I burned myself accidentally. A pot of grease fell on my foot. That happened like fucking 5 years ago. Excuse my language. So I'm just chilling. I'm sitting here. She's an artist, this lady. But I took the volume off. But I just want to talk about something, man. I hear a lot of people saying starving artists. Now, I am an artist, okay? I'm an artist, but I don't consider myself as a starving artist because I still eat. I go to the grocery store, I do my shopping, I work part-time. I also am retired because I'm getting a retirement check because I worked all my life. I pay my taxes and everything. So that's the reason why I'm getting a retirement check. I worked at many different jobs. I was a manager in a grocery store, Key Food grocery store in Brooklyn. I also work as a manager in Macy's, in King Plaza Mall in Brooklyn, at the ladies' shoes. In ladies' shoes, I worked. Then from there, I always did art. But I did it as a hobby. I never looked at it as a serious thing until, I started to get a lot of compliments on my work, and then I took it serious, and then my wife encouraged me to go to Pratt Institute, to go to school, art school. But I already knew how to paint and draw because I was a self-taught artist. Man. The only thing I didn't know how to do is how to create shadows, on a painting. I always thought that the black is shadow. But when I went to Pratt Institute, the teacher said black is not a shadow. Shadow is the colors like green, violet, different types of colors except for black. And I learned how to do that. I didn't stay too long in Pratt Institute because I was a person who liked to do my own thing, and I didn't like the way how they was, teaching me, and they wasn't teaching me anything. And every time I would do something, they didn't like it, and that's why I dropped out of the school. I also had kids. I had to take care of my kids because my kids come first. I got all this complaint also from my wife saying, when are they going to make you famous? You know how to paint. Why are they, and all this crazy stuff. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to drop out. So I dropped out and I started working in Macy's and at the ladies' shoes. in the back of the house. I would set up the shoes so the salespeople would go back in the back room and get the shoes. I was the manager inside the back of the house of Lady Shoes in Brooklyn, New York, and Kings Plaza Mall. I worked there. Then, to make the story short, I moved over here in Philadelphia. Me and my wife got a store, corner store, and we started working. And and then from there, we made money and all that stuff. And then something happened between me and her, and then we end up getting divorced and everything. But um, I am happy. I live by myself. I mean, I live in my studio, but I'm a starving artist when I look at it. I did 4 exhibit of my artwork at that time with this guy named Robert Bullock. If you ever do see me here on my YouTube channel, man, what happened to the money? When you sold the painting, you made me a check. That check bounced. What happened to the money? See what happened? Hey, how you doing? How you doing, everybody? Welcome. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, man, and I never saw this guy again. He disappeared. He disappeared from me. But I never looked at myself as a starving artist. There's no such thing as a starving artist. I don't think so. Unless, I heard about Van Gogh. I think Van Gogh produced like 800 paintings. I don't think he never sold one. And if he did, maybe he did sold one at that last time. Now that he's gone, he's dead and gone. Now he's the most famous artist in the world. And his paintings are sold by the millions. And art collectors collect his artwork. I sometimes sit back and I say that's very unfair that you have to pass. When you pass away, that's when they make you famous. They don't give you the recognition of your artwork and everything. Sometimes I got my work in here in my studio. People haven't seen my artwork right now. They are gonna do an exhibit, which I'm not bullshitting. I am gonna put it here on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna live stream it. My exhibit of my artwork. I think she's gonna have other people also, because she told me she's gonna have other people there who got art and stuff. So I'm gonna exhibit my work to them so they can see the type of work I do. I don't know what type of artist I am. I know that I do a lot of abstract painting. I remember one day when they did an exhibit of my painting, this lady told me that I consider you as a contemporary artist. You do a lot of contemporary art. But when I started out as a kid, right? When I was 11 years old, I never did any drawings like a little kid. I never drew like a little kid. I always drew like a grown-up. Because at that time I was Catholic, right? And these, people who are Catholic have religious pictures hung on the wall. And I would take those pictures down and I would copy them by drawing them. I would look at it and start drawing those pictures, those images, And my parents were fascinated about it and everything, but they never gave me the support. They never supported me in it, They didn't encourage me to continue on and doing this type of drawings and stuff. I made one day a drawing for my father of Jesus Christ, the one with the heart, that Jesus like this, standing like this, and I did that. I copied it off some picture that they had, and I gave him the drawing, and he was fascinated about that. I bought my first oil paints. My first oil paints, I bought it when I was a teenager. I believe I was 15 years old. I went to an art supply store and bought my first case of oils, paints, right? And I started practicing. I would buy art books in the art supply store. I used to buy the figure paintings books. I would copy that off, the pictures and everything, and mixing the colors. So I would copy off of the paintings of other artists from on the canvas. And then when I needed some money, I would put those paintings on the street, on the corner, right? And sell it for $25 a paintings. I did a lot of experiments with my art. Um, I would use paper towels, and I would first lay out the paint, and then I would just scrape it right off and then create these different images of abstract paintings when I was young. And look at me right now. I'm here right here. You know, I did 4 exhibits, I believe. Yeah, it was 4 exhibits I did of my work. I sold, to be honest with you, I only sold 3 paintings. You know, only sold 3 paintings in the exhibit. And I believe I sold it. How much was the paintings? I think the painting they sold it for me was for 400, and out of the 400, they only gave me $275. Because you know they gotta get also that they gotta get paid also, because they're the one who are exhibiting your work in the gallery. So at that time, so in those gatherings, I used to exhibit at the Coalition of Arts here in Philadelphia. I got involved with this guy named Robert Bullock. He was in a program helping people who suffer from depression, because I suffer from depression. You know, and also, to be honest with you, I have dyslexia. All my life, when I was a child, I had the dyslexia. I had a learning disability, you know, and I overcome that through the years. Dyslexia is a learning disability. I didn't know how to read or write. I couldn't understand what the teacher was saying. I was always scared of the teacher trying to call me to read. My classmates, they would make fun of me when I would read. I didn't know how to read. I didn't know how to write, but I knew how to paint. I knew how to draw, and that's what kept me going in my life. I was also abused. I had abusive parents. You know, I was abused by my father and everything. And my only escape from all that horrible thing was through my art, by drawing and painting and stuff. And look at me here right now. I'm right here right now. I create all these type of paintings. You can see right now. Look at this painting that I created, titled Floating Pieces of My Life. What made me create that is that, I don't know, I feel like my life is sort of like a puzzle, man. It's all scattered around all over the place. I'm trying to get myself together, you know, in this piece of artwork that I did. I bought that frame yesterday and framed that painting. You know, I noticed too that when I post some of these figure paintings, these are people who model for me. I don't get that much reviews or likes on these type of paintings, but I love doing figure painting. You know, this is a lady who modeled for me, a friend of mine. But it's not even showing anything. My focus was on her toes and her hand, how she's grabbing her foot. The focus point of this painting is her toe, if you can see that. I wanted to make that really realistic. And also this abstract painting up here. And you can see I got paintings all over the place, man. I got paintings rolled up back there, back over there. So I don't know. I never consider myself as a starving artist, because I live in here in my studio. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes on my back. Got money in my pocket. I'm retired. I want to make a living as an artist, man. I want to be able to make it in the art world. I want people to know who I am, you know, and my middle name is Matisse. That's why I signed my painting Matisse. I used to sign it as Chris because my first name is Cristobal, you know, Cristobal. In English, Cristobal, Pabon, but I use my middle name, Matisse. I signed it um, on my painting. At first, I used to sign it as Cristobal or Chris. I still got old paintings over here. Yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm watching this lady right here. She's an artist, man. This lady here, she's an artist. But I don't want to put the volume because they got music, and if I put music here, you know they're gonna give me a red flag, man. They're gonna red flag me, and then I won't be able to live stream anymore, man. You know, it's been hard for me to be able to go live stream on this channel because you gotta have like 50 subscribers to be able to go live stream. Yeah. So I thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. I know sometimes it can be boring, you know, I don't do anything exciting. I was taking you guys to certain places, but I did promise to take you to the museum. So I am going to take you to the museum. That's next month. I'm going to do that in August. I'm going to take you to the museum here in Philadelphia so we can check out the paintings. You know, I think the admission to get in, I think is $30 to get in. I'm going to find out. I shouldn't be paying anything because I live here in Philly. Only the people who don't live here in Philly, those are the ones supposed to pay. But I think you got to show your ID. I got to show them my driver's license. They see if I live here, maybe they'll let me in for free. Or maybe I pay less. Who knows? But I know it's like $30 to go in. So I want to show you guys the museums. The museum over here in Philadelphia, the big one, where Rocky Balboa ran. You know the guy who did the movie, Rocky? Sylvester Stallone, who ran up the steps. Yeah, I want to show you that. They got a statue right there, of Rocky, you know. So, yeah, guys, I just wanted, you know, to tell you that I don't know what type of artist I am. I only know that I create all types of art, man. I do abstract paintings. I do still life paintings. I remember I did a painting called Sliced Apples, a still life. Real good. Did it real, yo, I even framed it in a gold frame. And I wanted to sell it, so I took it to this gallery in Manhattan, right, that was owned by Japanese people, right? So the guy said, okay, I'm going to exhibit the painting for you for $60. I'm going to give you a receipt. When it sell, I'll give you the money. So when I went to the gallery and saw my painting, he had it for $249. I went back and I said, yo, I want my painting back. He didn't want to give it back to me. He said, no, you never came here. That's my painting. That's my painting. And I showed him the receipt. And he said, no, they made that receipt and I lost that painting in that gallery. That was a big lesson for me. I should have never done that stupid thing. I know that painting sold. That painting, somebody bought that painting. I know they did. Yeah, so I'm right here sitting down, relaxing, watching YouTube. I like to watch other different artists on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, man, let me show you this painting right here, bro. Look at this painting. Let me show you, man. A painting of the bird right there. I did that painting. And the medium I used was acrylic paint. That's an 18 by 24. Titled The Yellow Bird. Titled The Yellow Bird. That painting. Really nice. And this one up here Abstract painting titled Swirl. Let me bring it up a little closer so you can see it. I did that brushstroke. That's a brushstroke I did. You can see the swirl of that image right there. That's an abstract painting. And also did that one up there. Yeah, I have a lot of abstract paintings, man, all over the place. I did this painting also too. This young lady, she passed away 4 years ago. She was my friend, my lover. She passed away. The painting is titled Desire. She was sleeping when I did that painting of her. I used acrylic paint to do that painting. Also, the portrait of this young lady called Turner Sanctuary. She's on YouTube. I follow her on social media. She's in all different social media. So I did her portrait of her right there. So I do a lot of different types of art. Yeah, guys. Well, my friend, I think it's getting a little late. I'm gonna get myself ready to take a shower, get ready to go to bed. You know, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment, man. I gotta go to the doctor's appointment in the hospital. Nothing serious, you know, regular routine. You know, when you're a senior, you gotta take care of your body, man. You gotta take care of your health. You know. Next month I'll be 67 years old. Next month I'll be 67 years old. This famous actor who was 67 years old, he passed away. I forgot his name. He did a lot of movies and shit. He died a couple of days ago. I don't know what he died of, but you know, he was 67 years old. Shit, I'm gonna be 67 next month. And August 8th, I'm a Leo, man. I am a Leo, the lion. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for coming over, man. If you liked this video, man, give a like, man. I mean, it doesn't cost you $1 to give a like. You know, I would really, really appreciate it if you do that. If you give a like, you know, to this video and share it to your friends. All right, guys. So I love you guys, man. You take care, and I'll see you next time.